Cubs and Brewers series and RYNE passes. So first off, before we get into that, we'll start with the Chicago Cubs and Brewers. This was one of the biggest series of the year so far because you have two teams in first place battling it out, and they have the two of the best records in all of baseball, which coming into yesterday. So the power rankings had dropped, and this is what it had looked like. Um, So you see the Cubs there first, and then they had the Blue Jays in second, the Mets third, Dodgers fourth, Phillies fifth, and the Brewers sixth. You have the Astros seventh, the Tigers eighth, and Seattle Mariners ninth, followed along by the New York Yankees at 10. So this was MLB.com's list, which I can say that a lot of people don't agree with, and I would say that I probably don't agree with either because. Um, I don't think the Brewers are the sixth best team in the league. They are at least top three, in my opinion. I can see why they put the Cubs there because of how explosive their offense is and how they've played the past few weeks, even the whole year. You could tell why the Blue Jays were at number two because they found some resurgence and had now the best record in baseball. Um, But they dropped the Tigers all the way down. They were number one last week, and they dropped them all the way to eight. And the Dodgers are still number four over the Brewers, in which the Brewers had just swept the Dodgers. So this list is pretty flawed, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's definitely some issues with this when I look at it from that surface level. The thing about power rankings is they're not necessarily ranking the best teams per se, they're ranking the hottest ones. So I can see why the Brewers would be six because the national media is not very high on Milwaukee most of the time. And they don't rank us very highly unless we're on an 11 game win streak, which ESPN had us at one. But I think having Toronto in the one after how good they've played would
Yeah.
have been the right decision. I don't think the Cubs deserve to be at one. They dropped a game to the White Sox. They rebounded and won the second two, but the Blue Jays have been red hot. So have the Mets as of late as well. So I think you can make an argument that those could be the top two. But yeah, like you said, the Dodgers being there is a little odd to me considering the fact that the Brewers, like Jalen said in the comments, swept the Dodgers two times in a row, once before the All-Star break and once directly after the All-Star break. I think sometimes they put these rankings out where they purposely get a couple teams wrong almost on purpose just to drive up engagement because they know people like Brewers fans, for example, are going to eat this up, tear it apart, and they're gonna give them the engagement that they want.
Then you're gonna have Dodgers haters as well that don't like the Dodgers at all, and they're gonna.
It's like when Bleacher Report puts out those terrible like top 10 or top 100 rankings of each position and everything's just completely wrong, or the way too early power rankings where no matter how bad the Lakers were during the season, they're still in like the top 14 or whatever.
Yeah, this was just MLB.com's list. We do have MLB on Fox's list, who I can actually really agree with, who actually I think have it correctly, which I still don't really, kind of agree with number six. But the MLB on Fox, Rowan Cavnar's MLB power rankings are: he has the Blue Jays at one, Cubs two, Brewers three, Mets four, Phillies five, Dodgers six, which I don't agree with. The Tigers seventh, Astros eighth, Yankees nine, and the Red Sox 10th. Hmm. The Red Sox.
Comes down to that engagement again, like I said. I don't really think there's too much of an issue with the top five here. The Blue Jays, Cubs, and Brewers, and even the Mets and Phillies, they're not far off that top record in baseball at
Oh yeah.
all. Now, the Dodgers responded well after the Brewers swept them twice, so I can understand why they'd still have them in the top 10. And they're a lot more reluctant to move teams like the Dodgers or, say, the Yankees, who haven't been playing well as of late, out of the top 10. They're going to keep them there just because they need that engagement. But the Tigers have not been playing well as of late either.
Right.
They've really struggled. They're in a cold spell. A lot of their guys are struggling through the month of July. They had the top record in the sport for a while, but they fell off as well.
So Kavanaugh last week he had the Cubs at number one, which they dropped the place to number two. And then he had the Blue Jays at four and put them in. They went up 3 spots, which is all right to me. But if you're gonna drop the Tigers that far from how bad they've played, you got to drop the Dodgers below the Tigers at least because
But
how the Tigers have looked.
the Dodgers record wise are better than the Tigers by about
Yeah,
a game. So from that vantage point, the Tigers are ice cold right now, and the Dodgers were ice cold, but they're starting to rebound, and they won again last night.
yeah. So, so we'll talk about this Brewers series here. We had what was it, Jacob Mizorowski. He started off very bad, very shaky, in which he had to. Um, he at the first inning he gave up. Well, I think it was a little single or a strikeout first. He struck out Pete Crow Armstrong. The bases were loaded with nobody out. He struck out Pete Crow. I think it was either one out or no outs, and the ball went to the backstop. It got past the catcher, and that's 1 run. Okay, fine, that's 1-0. But Ian Happ comes up, I think a few batters later. Yeah, then because Carson Kelly had struck out. So then Ian Happ comes up a few batters later, hits a little tapper back to the mound.
I thought that was Seiya.
No, that was Ian Happ that hit that. Oh
Okay.
wait, it was Seiya, but hmm,
Yeah, because they collided into each other when Miz
yeah.
was trying to go retrieve the ball.
Okay, so I'm guessing that. Well, let me just go look at the box score real quick
I
because
think Seiya was fifth, and then Kelly and Happ were after that, but I could be wrong. Bottom line
oh
though,
yeah. So Seiya got on base before that, where they collided and things like that. Because that was just a little bunt. That was like a little dribbler. But all in all, Ian Happ had tapped it back to the mound, to which Mizorowski picked it up and threw it into the outfield for them to get 2 more runs. That's where that came from.
oh yeah, right.
So, so he came up. They were up 3-0, and then at first, the Matthew Boyd was doing all right. I mean, he just didn't really look sharp to me for when I had seen him. It was he was missing pitches. He was missing his spot, his locations. Even though he was getting weak contact to begin the game, and people were like, "Oh my goodness, he's finding a way through it. He's getting through it." He just didn't look sharp.
His
Um,
fastball was all over the place last night. He walked the first two Brewers batters and then got lucky. Contreras hit it right to third for a double play, but he definitely, even in the first two innings, escaped.
yeah, he escaped the first 2 innings unscathed, which he shouldn't have, but he got through it. But then that's when the third inning came, and everything went haywire right all after that. It Frelick had started. He got on base, and then Yelich comes up 2 batters later and hits a double on a line drive to Tucker. Isaac Collins singles. After that, drives in Yelich and Contreras on a base hit. He was fired up. And then Terrain comes up and hits a sacrifice, and Vaughn scores. And then it was after that, it was just all Brewers, in which they had like 3 homers right after that. The bottom of the fifth, they had Andrew Vaughn hit one, Sal Frelick hit one the next inning, and then the next half inning, Yelich hit one. So they went fifth, bottom of the fifth, bottom of the sixth, bottom of the seventh, but all homers by the Brewers, and it just takes over the cake where they were up 8-4, and that was about it. The Cubs tried to fight back in the bottom of the sixth to where they um, had came within 2, but once again, they had someone on base. Yelich comes up and puts it out. So I mean, we all knew it was going to be a tough. We all knew this was going to be a great series. This is going to be a fantastic series. I'm excited to see what happens tonight. Um, you got 2 mid-level pitchers throwing tonight, so it ain't going to be as okay all-star studded, but it's still going to be a great day. It's still going to be a great game. It's still going to be a great series. Still going to be, you're still going to be fighting for first place. Right now, I think the series is tied 3-3, and whoever wins tonight covers the tiebreaker for now until tomorrow. But the Cubs win tonight, they'll be right back in first place because they will be up 4-3. So it'd be something to see for sure. I mean, what do you expect for tonight?
I mean, the most discouraging thing I think if you're a Brewers fan is that they used all 8 pitchers in the pen last night. They
Ah,
went through everybody. I mean, McGill only threw 3 pitches, but they still had to warm him up. He had to get ready. He had to go out there and he had to clean up what Craig Yoho left him, which was not great. You can't be throwing walks like that in the 9th inning when you're up 4 because with this Cubs offense, anything can happen. He just got lucky that McGill came in and cleaned up his mess pretty quick. But it's definitely going to be different tonight. Quinn Priester versus Colin Ray, like you said, 2 of the mid-level pitchers in each rotation. I think Priester has been a little bit better than Ray has
yeah.
this year, especially after his shaky start. He had a couple of rough outings to begin the year, but the Brewers definitely have the edge in starting pitching, but the Cubs have Shota on the mound tomorrow. So if they can steal it tonight, Shota will probably be able to get it done for them tomorrow. Freddie Peralta's on the mound for the Brewers as well. So it'll be another great pitching matchup.
Yep.
But it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility that the Cubs lead this series with a one game lead in the division as well. Their offense was uncharacteristically cold last night. I know some of their guys at the top of the lineup, Kyle Tucker, Seiya, and Michael Busch have kind of been slumping as of late, but they were so hot to begin the year. And even through June, early July, they were really hot. And ever since then, it's kind of had to been the bottom of the order. Matt Shaw has been helping out with the Cubs a lot as of late. His average went all the way up from 200 to around 225, 230, somewhere in there. PCA has been pretty consistent, although he wasn't very good offensively speaking last night. Took a hit away from Churio in the 8th. That would have extended his hitting streak. But yeah, it should be a really good one tonight. It's tough. It's tough to say who's going to win just because I don't know how Priester is going to look on the mound tonight against a really good offense. He did shut down the Dodgers, but yeah, interesting comment right there. Bellinger's been playing really well for the Yankees as well.
I've been saying this all season long. I've been saying this since they made that trade. You're going to regret it. Cubs are going to regret it because what Bellinger is doing right now, right? He's got about 18, 20 bombs right now, right? How many bombs does Matt Shaw have? 5, maybe? 4?
I don't know.
Something like that. Not as much as Bellinger. How high is Bellinger's average? Oh, it's just, he's batting 281, 58 RBIs, 9 stolen bases, 60 runs scored. Absolutely playing wizardry defense with 19 bombs. I've been saying this because at some point in time, this lineup was going to get cold, right? Kyle Tucker was not going to be able to keep up what he was doing. He's going to have every player has their spell to where they get cold, right? Bellinger was pretty average or below average to begin the season, but he's red hot right now. And you could use that red hot bat right now. See, what they should have done with Bellinger, like I've been saying, and I'll repeat it again, that Bellinger could have played first base. Busch would have played third for a season.
Is he able to play third?
He came up in the Dodgers system as a third baseman.
Okay.
Or as a middle infielder as well, second or third. But Matt Shaw is a second baseman. He came up in the system as a second baseman, and they put him at third. So I'm pretty sure Busch would have been able to adjust. But that's neither here nor there. You still would have had Bellinger in that lineup. So it would have went Busch to start because say Bellinger is playing with the Cubs right now, then we talk about the lineup the way it's been looking the past few games. So you would have had Busch at first, Busch batting first, Kyle Tucker second, Bellinger third, Seiya Suzuki fourth, PCA fifth. You could swap them two if you wanted.
Yeah, I feel like PCA and Seiya could easily flip there.
Yeah, they
Seiya
could
could have been
flip either
fifth.
day. They
PCA
could
could have
flip
been
each other.
fourth.
Then you would have Carson Kelly 6, Nico Horner 7, Dansby Swanson 8, Ian Happ 9. Switch hitter
I
at the ninth
mean,
hole.
that's not a bad lineup at all when you look at it. They easily beats the Brewers lineup. When you look at the Brewers lineup right now, now this is definitely a point of contention for a lot of Brewers fans. Still having William Contreras at the top of the order is definitely raising some eyebrows among our fan base. He was good last night. He had 2 base hits, but besides that, he's been on the struggle bus as of late. He really did not play well, at least at the plate against Miami. He really struggled. He went 1 for 12 in that series. And it just hasn't been his best year. He's playing hurt. He has a broken middle finger that he's been playing through all season. Gonna get surgery on it after the year. Get ready for next year, hopefully. But the team has said that they're not going to put him on IL or the injured list unless he is going to have that surgery, and he has no interest in doing so as of right now. The Brewers actually made a trade yesterday for another catcher, Danny Jansen, as well. So we could see him get some more off days here and there, which I think would be good for him. But overall, this Cubs lineup just bodies the Brewers lineup, if you think about it. On paper, at least, the Brewers are relying on a lot of rookies: Caleb Durbin, Isaac Collins, Joey Ortiz, a young guy who's really struggling this year. Now, Isaac Collins especially has been a great surprise this year, batting around 275-ish, somewhere in there. Churrio's around 270. Yelich is around 255, 260, somewhere in there. But the Cubs lineup on paper is so much better than the Brewers, but the Brewers play such a unique brand of baseball, and that comment about them being tough, they play really old school ball. They run hard on the base paths. They take extra bases, they steal a lot. Does it not always work out? Yeah, every once in a while they fail because of it, and you have one of those "what the heck are you doing" moments. But they're a gritty team and they play really hard.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. I mean, that's just who they are. I mean, the Brewers aren't going to beat you a lot with the long ball. If they beat you with the long ball, then you're just kind of you just well, you can't really say much. But we're going to look at as well. We got a lot to see with that series, especially on Thursday. It'd be something to see because the series will be over and we'd have a lot more to talk about, more depth and more things to talk about for the Brewers. But I want to
Our
talk about
conversation by Thursday could be completely different as well. Right now, we're
yeah.
talking about how the Brewers kind of out-hearted the Cubs a little bit last night. The Cubs had a good first inning, got some fluky things to go their way with Mizorowski overthrowing it at first base, the pitch hitting the backstop. But the Brewers played hard. They stayed in it. They didn't give up. They got back in it within the third inning. And then after that, it was just Brewers from there. But we could be having a completely different conversation on Thursday, depending on how these two games go.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, this series is not even nowhere near over. I think the Cubs win tonight, and it's going to set up a really decisive game tomorrow. So, uh, be everybody be tuned. We will be having our trade deadline special on Thursday, where we're going to be sitting down reviewing all the trades as they come in. Um, so we're going to all be watching the trade deadline, and we'll be giving you our thoughts and analysis on whoever gets traded, because we're going to have our MLB trade deadline special. I will post the time for it on Instagram. I will try to have it on. I try to put it out there on X, and then I'm gonna also put it on YouTube as a post as well to let everybody know what time it is. It's gonna be somewhere around maybe 4-ish, 3:30-ish, so around there, so we can all be sitting around waiting for them to drop because it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen within a matter of minutes. So, but Ryan Sandberg has passed us. He has let us. He has left us. Uh, he was battling cancer, and um, I got to meet him at Cubs convention. I don't think I took a picture with him. I never got to take a picture with him, but I met him before. Really, really, really humble guy. I mean, very funny as well. I mean, free spirit, lights up a room whenever he walks in. Um, Never really, I didn't get to see him play at all. But if he was playing, then it probably was back in his career, and I was maybe like 1 years old, so I never got to see him play. But he was a 10-time All Star, National League MVP, 9-time Gold Glover, 7-time Silver Slugger, home run leader for the NL in 1990. Chicago Cubs retired his number 23, and the Chicago Cubs Hall of Fame is in there. He's now in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He was inducted in 2005. One of the greatest Cubs to ever play for the one of the best players to ever wear a Cubs uniform. So, um, yeah, he had a career 285 batting average, 68 game WAR. He was a part of that 2000 hit club. He didn't reach 3,000, but he got to 2,000. He had 2,386 hits, and he also had 282 homers as a career, but he never reached the 300 mark. But he was probably the best Cub to, not the best Cub to put on the uniform. I think that was Ernie Banks, but he was number two for sure. He was definitely number two.
I mean, obviously, it's a terrible loss for whoever. Obviously, condolences to his family, his friends. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing actually. Another 23 legend in Chicago with Jordan and him.
Something about that 23 in Chicago, man. I'm telling you, something
Yeah,
about
but
it.
um, obviously a terrible loss for the Cubs. It's going to be a tough couple of days for the Chicago sports community, I'm sure. I can't really speak a ton on this as a Wisconsin guy, and obviously we weren't alive yet at the time, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of examples of other 23s. Devin Hester is another great shout for sure as all-time punt returner. Um,
Yeah, he was one of
just
the
looking at
best.
his stats here really quick. Like you said, lifetime 285 batting average. Just a really great career overall. Had 40 home runs in 1990. He was fourth in MVP voting, multi-time All-Star. Pretty quickly inducted into the MLB Hall of Fame as well. So just great man, great player. Condolences to his friends and family.
Yeah, he was something. He was something special for sure. I mean, it
I
hurts a
mean, and
lot.
by all accounts that I've seen, he was a great human being as well, which
Yeah,
is another important thing. You said you got to meet him at some point, which is really
yeah.
cool.
Got to
And
meet him at Cubs convention, and because I would like, I'm not gonna say much, but um, people who know me knows my affiliation with the Chicago Cubs. So, but yeah, I got to meet him in the back. He was something special. I mean, he was every time he talked, people were laughing. Every time somebody was around him, there was a smile on their face. He was just that kind of player. He was that kind of just that kind of human. He always brought joy into a room. He always brought creativity whenever he was talking with people. He always, his sports knowledge as well. I mean, he wasn't just a baseball player. He liked other sports too, and this was pretty hard. I mean, this definitely hits all Cub fans for sure. Even if you did never see him play, at some point, you've seen him on TV. If you never met him in person, you've seen him on TV. You've seen him on um, Marquee. You've seen him on Comcast Sportsnet when they had that NBC Chicago, and you've seen him with videos all around. Doing interviews and meet and greets and all that stuff. So it's just that he was just one of the greatest human beings, and um, you know, he would definitely be missed, and he will for sure definitely be missed. So, you got anything last words for Rhino, real quick?
uh, obviously, it's going to be tough for the Cubs community the next few days. Obviously, everyone's going to be going through all the emotions. I'm sure there'll be a moving tribute for him when the Cubs return home after this series. I think the Brewers will probably honor him in some way as well. This kind of reminds me a little bit of the Euchre situation that we had in January when he passed away. Just an absolute icon of the club, one of the faces of the organization. So hopefully the Cubs can rebound well from this as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah.